Live, sponsored by ESL Federal Credit Union.
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson had never thrown an interception in the red zone. That streak came to an end tonight. Taron Johnson, the Bills defensive back, intercepts Lamar Jackson and takes it 101 yards. It was the biggest play of the game. Heck, it was the biggest play of the season. That sealed the deal, and the Bills are headed to the AFC Championship game. Welcome to Buffalo Postgame Live. I'm Josh Reed alongside Thad Brown. Back in the studio, we've got Heather Prusek. She'll be joining us momentarily. Thad, this Bills defense was sensational tonight, allowing just 3 points.
Taron Johnson made the play of the game. Sometimes all you got to do is make that one play in a playoff game. The Bills had it tonight. Taron Johnson speaking to the media right now. Let's hear what he has to say.
Our defense just stepped up to the challenge. You know, we here to talk a little bit, you know, but it doesn't faze us, you know. We just go out there and do what we got to do, and we execute it well, and I feel like we can continue to do this even on the next game, regardless of who it is, Kansas City or the Browns.
Congrats. Hey, Skursky, you're all set. You can, Skursky. All right, we'll go to.
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry, Taron, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, apologies about that. When you think back to the Kansas City game this season, you know, you were taken out of the lineup. Obviously, you get back in, Cam gets hurt, but I mean, for your season to go this way, to swing, to have those such massive swings, what went through your mind back then? You know, when you were briefly taken out of the lineup, and how did you use that moving forward to inspire you, if you did?
I would say is I just was taking it one day at a time. You know, I mean, some things are out of my control, and I just have to deal with it. You know, I can't worry about things that are out of my control. All I can do is the best that I can, and that's what I've been doing.
Thank you.
All right, Taron, that's all.
That's an important point that was brought up during that question and answer session. Remember, Taron Johnson was a guy who lost his job as the nickel corner. Cam Lewis had been able to overtake him and really look like the guy that was going to hold the job the rest of the year. Lewis gets hurt. Johnson, when he came back in, looked re-energized. I thought the last few games of the regular season, he was a force when it comes to run defense, and then he makes the big play in passing tonight.
And here's the thing, Taron Johnson, pick six, this is nothing new for him. Remember, he just did this against the Steelers, remember? I mean, the guy happens to be in the right spot, and when he makes an interception, turns it into points. That third quarter was kind of crazy, Thad. It was a quarter that went by really quickly. The Bills' offense had one possession in the entire quarter, yet they scored 14 points because that opening drive, the Bills' offense was not great by any means. It was good enough to get the job done, but that first drive of that third quarter was sensational.
And give Brian Dable a lot of credit. I thought he came up with a bunch of different wrinkles on that drive that really moved the ball down the field. A bunch that converted third down plays. It started with a 3rd and 2, a fake to Devin Singletary, and then hit Dawson Knox leaking out. Later, the throw to Devin Singletary. That's a 2-man pick with the running back who lined up inside, going outside, something the Bills have never done before. The touchdown, maybe a recognition play by Josh Allen, but either way, those were scheme things that got the Bills in the end zone when they couldn't do it in the first half.
Let's hear from Bills captain Jordan Poyer.
And, you know, he was definitely a difference maker.
Thank you.
Hey, Jordan, congrats on the win.
Thanks, Heather.
For you guys, how personally did you take it not being able to get as much pressure as you wanted to on Phillip Rivers last week? You guys did a great job today against Lamar. Just how personally did you guys take that?
Well, I mean, you're looking at two totally different style quarterbacks. You know, when you're talking about Lamar and Phillip, you know, Phillip is a guy who understands, who, one, likes to get the ball out of his hands quick and understands coverages, understands defense, and, you know, understands leverages. You know, it's just a different dynamic quarterback, and we're able to we pressure a lot. We were extremely aggressive tonight, and it showed. We were able to make some plays in the backfield, and then, you know, we were able to make some different looks on the back end to kind of try to confuse them and just make plays in football.
much of the style that you guys played tonight and what you were able to do out there, how much does that represent the identity of this defense?
Yeah, I mean, that's who we are, man. Bend but don't break. That's an offense that you're not going to see that style offense. So really, a lot of the stuff that we're doing, it's kind of stuff that is out of, I want to say out of our element, but we had to bring extra guys because of the quarterback rush. So, it's a very good offense team. We're just able to play better today.
And looking ahead to tomorrow's game, if the Browns win and you guys are able to host that AFC Championship game, just what would that mean and just your reaction to that, I guess?
I'm gonna enjoy this 24 hours. I'm gonna sit and watch the game tomorrow. At this point, it would be awesome to be at home. I don't care. We're in the AFC Championship game, home or away. It's a blessing to be part of. So definitely take advantage of the opportunity. And just one day at a time. So it's all in.
So now the Bills will sit and watch and wait to see who their next opponent is. It's either going to be the Chiefs or the Cleveland Browns, and if it's the Browns, it'll be right back here, giving Bills fans a third chance to be inside that stadium. Had a chance to talk to some of the photographers that are down in the bowl. They said those 6,700 fans, they got really loud.
It was a big help for sure, and we saw it last week against the Colts game. Phillip Rivers had to go up to the line to make adjustments. In this game, you saw it when the Ravens in the second quarter had the 2 back-to-back false start penalties. Now, did it help that the Ravens were backed up in one end, a little closer to the fans at that side of the field? For sure. But when you have 6,700 that can make an impact, it is making the home field advantage a real thing. And that was one thing I did think about maybe mid-first half, that, we didn't think 6,700 would have that much of an impact, but right this second, the Bills being at home was a thing that made a difference in this game.
I don't know how to put this, but let's just say the fans, as they filtered out, they're juiced.
Yeah.
They are juiced about this win.
To say the least.
We are going to take a quick break. Coming up on Buffalo Postgame Live, we'll continue to hear from inside the Bills locker room, player reaction and highlights and analysis. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're watching Channel 8 WROC, the official home of the Buffalo Bills.
Get your best night's sleep during the MLK holiday event at Metro Mattress. Take home a Sealy plush starting at $599 or a Sealy cushion firm starting at $649. Get $300 in gifts with purchase on top-selling luxury brands, including Tempur-Pedic and Chatham & Wells mattress sets. Experience the comfort of Spring Air back supporter sets and get a bed bundle with pillows, sheet set, and comforter. Save online, in-store, or over the phone.
Metro Mattress, the sleep superstore.
Chaos in D.C. And only News 8 brought the story home.
Congressman, thank you for joining us. My first question to you is, are you okay?
With exclusive interviews.
It's very heart-wrenching. This is not who we are.
Your local connection to news that matters. News 8.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future.
At DonorsChoose.org, we want students in every community to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, students and teachers need your help. Every year, most public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money on student supplies. Let's do the math. That comes out to over $1.2 billion. We can do better. Here's how. Go to DonorsChoose.org, find a request to support, and we'll make sure they get exactly what they need. Choose from books to computers, from art supplies to robotics kits. There are microscopes, musical instruments, and so much more. You'll receive thank you letters and photos from students and teachers, and a report of how every dollar was spent. To learn more and find a teacher's request in your community, visit DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future.
The Mark's Pizzeria Big Game Tailgate Sweepstakes. You could win a tailgate pack for your football fans, including 2 cheese pizzas, 3 2-liters, and 4 add-on combos. Enter now on RochesterFirst.com/contest and download the Mark's Pizzeria app to place your order.
When winter weather hits, stay connected with the News 8 weather team.
Welcome back to Buffalo Postgame Live. The Bills win 17-3. Let's hear from starting left tackle Dion Dawkins.
Hey, Dion, Matt Fairburn here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What was the emotion like when you guys got into the locker room and were finally able to breathe and realize what you'd done?
Man, we still ain't even realizing it, you know. The emotions are still flying. I've been trying to tell people for a long time that this is a special group. It's extremely special. You know, we're a bunch of underdogs just trying to do and what's right. Ain't nobody perfect. We all make mistakes, and we're doing it, and we're just learning from it, just climbing. But the locker room is still living now. I really can't hear him because I got this on, but it's a party here. It's a party, man, and guys are excited, but it'll hit in about a half an hour. And when guys get in their car, you sit back and we just think like, yo, we're 2 games away from the big show, and we're in the AFC Championship game in our next game. So, hey, this is a special moment. It's a special time to be a Buffalo Bill. You know, no better place to be but right here.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, you know, a lot of underdogs on this team, and Taron Johnson's one of those. Fought through some injuries, 4th-round pick, was in and out of the lineup. Have you seen him battle through all of that to eventually get to a moment where he makes one of the greatest plays in franchise history?
Man, listen. Special. Like I told you, man, it's a special team. There's so many guys here that is due for greatness. You know, a bunch of guys like that's been just doing their job over and over and never really seeing the other side to it. Taron, he's been making plays all year long, and he just continues to come up, and I'm happy for whatever is next for him. But not to put all the attention on Taron. As a defense, if the other guys on the defense didn't do what they did, Taron would have never been in the position. So I want to put the attention on the defensive line that got the pressure that caused him to throw the pick. I want to put it for his entire DB room that did their job to put him in the perfect position to make that play happen. And, you know, that's why this team is so special. And I'm sorry that, and I'm pushing on, but it's emotional, man. Like these guys care about each other, and everybody on their defense was doing their job, which put Taron in the perfect position to make that play happen. And
hearing from Dion Dawkins right there, it was funny because when Taron Johnson had that interception return for the touchdown, Dion had his helmet off. He was on the field. He was doing some sort of dance routine with Micah Hyde, and then he realized last second, oh, it's extra point. And he threw his helmet on and then had to sprint to the line to get set for extra point. Dad, let's talk a little bit about this Bills defense, because that opening drive by the Ravens offense, I was like, uh-oh, this could be a long day, but they were able to make adjustments.
Yeah, first drive of the game, the Ravens go carry for 12, carry for 10, carry for 9. You know, at one point we were joking in the press box, hey, look, the Bills didn't give up a first down on a run play. Look how great they are. But from there, the Bills really took the Ravens out of their run game. You think about the drive the Ravens had to open the second half. Yeah, they went down the field. Yeah, they nearly scored, but they were throwing most of the drive. And that's not what the Ravens do. The Bills have played well enough in the first half, even though the final numbers won't show it, to take a run-first team out of what they had to do. It would have been interesting to see, let's say the Ravens kick a field goal and make it 10-6. How much do they continue to rely on the passing game the rest of the way? But we would have, if you told us before the game that the Ravens would be coming out throwing in the second half, we would have thought the Bills would have been up by 30, not 7. Either way, heck of a job by this defense. By the way, 4 sacks also against a guy like Lamar Jackson. That is no easy thing.
Yeah, Jerry Hughes was sensational at defensive end for the Bills. He had 2 of those sacks. And you know what? And my initial reaction is Matt Milano had another really nice game. He continues as the season has gone on, and he's gotten healthy.
Rinse and repeat.
Absolutely. He's been great. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up on Buffalo Postgame Live, we're going to continue to hear from the players. Obviously, a very happy locker room here in Orchard Park. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Nominate your child's teacher for a Golden Apple Award on RochesterFirst.com.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
When I got engaged, I was scared. Forever was a long time. It's not long enough now. So when I think about retirement, it would be having more time to spend with family and the grandkids. And that's just a beautiful thing. You start to realize that, all right, I did some good things in life, and now you just start to see that cycle just keep going.
Looking for a job? Check out the new WROC job board. Great opportunities based on your resume. Apply in one click. Get alerts, notifications for new postings, and salary information all in one place. Go to rochesterfirst.com and find your next job today.
Better quality, better selection, better prices start at York Furniture Gallery. The winter savings sale is going on now. 30 to 70% off. Incredible markdowns with in-stock items for immediate delivery. Custom orders also on sale now at York Furniture Gallery.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Watch News 8's First Responder Spotlight on rochesterfirst.com.
As crazy as it sounds, we got
Buffalo Postgame live. The Bills are headed to the AFC Championship game. Let's hear from quarterback Josh Allen.
What was your reaction to seeing Terrence pick six? We just heard from Dion. He said, all I saw was, Johnson going the other way. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I saw him come out the end zone. Usually when there's a lot of bodies around you, you want to stay in. So I was like, dang it, he's going to get tackled at the 5 or the 10. And I'll tell you what, Trey White to go up ahead and get a block on Lamar, to spring him free. I mean, it's unbelievable. You practice for those situations. I'm going to pat myself on the back. In practice, I go behind him and I try to punch the ball out. So Terran had that extra sense to kind of look back, feel someone else coming, and hold on to the ball and to finish the score. But just an unbelievable play, just one of those games, one of those plays that'll be remembered for a really long time.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh. Congrats on the win. Longest tenured Bill, Jerry Hughes, comes out here against one of the scariest playmakers in the league and puts on a show. I mean, what's going on in the locker room? Your team's impressions of that kind of performance from a leader?
I mean, it speaks volumes to the guys in this locker room, and to go out there and make plays when your number's called. Jerry's just one of those vets that just does his job. We respect him. He's one of those guys that you love having on your squad. For him to go out there and play the way he did, and guys like Trent Murphy, Trent hasn't been active very often this year, but to go out there and make the plays that he did, and the way our defense stopped the run, I mean, the game plan was executed to perfection. And, offensively, we got to do a better job, but our defense stepped up, and again, that's playoff football. It doesn't matter how it looks. You either get it done or you don't. Our team got it done today.
And, obviously you've spoken so much about Stephon Diggs, but did you guys say anything to each other at halftime? Because it looked like you came out in the third quarter, getting the ball to him again, and he made plays again.
It's just what he does. Nothing special. He's special. It wasn't anything special we were calling. It was just one-on-one. And I trust my guy, and he does an unbelievable job of getting open feet separation, the balance to stay in his feet and miss a few tackles and get the ball north. Those are huge key plays for us, especially on third down. He had a couple of those. It just, like I said, when we needed him the most, he stepped up, and that's what he does.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, Dan Fates in Rochester. We've asked you guys after big games, the locker room's been humbled and hungry. Dion said it was a party. I mean, Dion was pretty hyped up in the Zoom call. Does this feel like you guys let some emotion out in this game, post-game maybe?
Maybe post-game. Just,
you know, guys see what people say on TV, and you know, being the home team, we didn't have a chance. You know, that's what a lot of people said. And, you know, credit to the Ravens, you know, playing some of the hottest football in the league. That's a really good team we just played. You know, and I'll say it over and over again. Hey, they're the real deal, especially on, you know, their whole team. But our guys played today with a hungry attitude, and you saw the results.
I'm not going to put words in your mouth or say that you guys felt disrespected. But
Josh Allen had 206 yards passing in the game. Stephon Diggs had 106 yards receiving and a touchdown. The Ravens have a really good secondary. It just doesn't matter. And Diggs is, I don't think he's guardable.
No, and he's not. He's an elite wide receiver for a good reason. The numbers from this game are nuts. Josh kind of touched on it. Bills had 220 total yards. Diggs had 106. It's almost half the offense. He had the only offensive touchdown. He was the only guy really making plays consistently throughout the game, and he did it against a variety of excellent Baltimore corners. No matter who the Bills are going to face the rest of the way here, they know that on any occasion, if they need a big play, Diggs is the guy they go to. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when the Bills needed a touchdown and Diggs was kind of left with blockers in front of him alone near the goal line, Josh went right to him, and Diggs didn't get away from someone. He didn't elude a guy. They just went right through Baltimore into the end zone. When you have a playmaker like that, makes everything so much easier offensively, because if everything else is not working, which is almost the situation tonight, the Bills still can go to Diggs.
And quite frankly, those numbers could have been much more, because early in the game, Allen overshot Diggs. I think the wind maybe had a little bit to do with that, but he was wide open, deep down the field, and probably could have walked into the end zone. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up on Buffalo Postgame Live, we're going to continue to talk about the Bills' big 17-3 win as they are headed to the AFC Championship game. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Way to go, Buffalo, from Rochester's home of the Buffalo Bills, Channel 8.
If you've received a stimulus payment, you can apply those funds on any Vision pre-owned vehicle, and Vision will triple your down payment. Plus, if you've got a job, we'll get you financed, guaranteed, with no payments for 90 days.
Looking for top-tier talent and more profits for your business? Get real in the greater Rochester, New York region. With a highly skilled workforce and commercial real estate rates 49% lower than the national average, companies with 50 or more employees can make profits of $1 million a year more in Rochester than in other high-tech hubs like Boston, New York, D.C., or San Francisco. Contact Greater Rochester Enterprise and get started today at rochesterbiz.com.
Get your best night's sleep during the MLK holiday event at Metro Mattress. Take home a Sealy plush starting at $599 or a Sealy cushion firm starting at $649. Get $300 in gifts with purchase on top-selling luxury brands, including Tempur-Pedic and Chatham & Wells mattress sets. Experience the comfort of Spring Air back supporter sets and get a bed bundle with pillows, sheet set, and comforter. Save online, in-store, or over the phone.
Metro Mattress, the sleep superstore.
Caitlin Girton teaches 3rd grade at Harris Hill Elementary.
Ms. Girton is nice, and you are one of the best teachers I've ever had.
See a new Golden Apple every Tuesday at 5:30. Sponsored by Advantage Federal Credit Union.
When winter weather hits.
Hey, let's talk snow chances here. We'll take this through tonight and through most of the day tomorrow.
That's going to make for some rough and rugged conditions.
Count on Chief Meteorologist Eric Snidel and the News 8 weather team. On air, online, and on the go.
If you've received a stimulus payment, you can apply those funds on any Vision pre-owned vehicle, and Vision will triple your down payment. Plus, if you've got a job, we'll get you financed, guaranteed, with no payments for 90 days.
Alexa, enable the News 8 WROC skill.
Welcome back to Buffalo Postgame Live. The Bills win 17-3 over the Ravens and are headed to the AFC title game. The only question left now is, who will they play? Will it be the Browns or will it be the Chiefs? We'll know tomorrow night. There's part of me that goes, hey, you know, a Cleveland Browns game here. The Bills will be a big favorite in that one, you would think, or at least a favorite in that one. Then the other part of me goes, man, I want to see Josh Allen v. Patrick Mahomes and the Bills and the Chiefs. To me, I think the NFL would like to see that matchup as well.
Well, I think that there's a good amount of Bills fans who, if they were honest, would want to see it also. Think about how this works for an NFL team. Yeah, you want to get to the Super Bowl. But for the Bills this year, they weren't the favorite. The Chiefs were the favorite. They're the king. They're the big guys on the block. What the Bills wanted all year long was to get their shot at the king, their swing at the king. Well, you know what? The Bills have passed every test. They won the division, got their first playoff win. They won a defensive-oriented game tonight. They went away from their strength and won this game. They've checked every box. They've done everything this league has asked for them. And their reward now, or at least we expect, will be a chance to go toe-to-toe with the king. Who doesn't want to see that? Even Bills fans who might want the easier path past Cleveland at home to go to the Super Bowl. If you can do it beating the Chiefs, then there's no doubters, there's no disrespect, there's no questions. The Bills are the team that are in charge of the AFC.
And here's the other thing that's you got to point out here is, look, if they play the Chiefs, the Bills can go back to a role that they're very comfortable in. The underdog role, right? Sean McDermott has been spoon-feeding his team since he arrived. For the last 4 years, it's been, hey, we're the underdogs, we don't get respect. Well, here's the problem. When you go 13-3 in the regular season and you're scoring 35 points a game, you can't really sell an underdog role. You know, you're a favorite against the Colts in the first round. You come out and you look pretty good, you beat them. They were a favorite in this one, too, even though it was a slight one. Come out and beat the Ravens. Against the Browns, they'll be the favorite. Against the Chiefs, they'll be the underdog, and then it's us against the world type of thing for Sean and his team.
It certainly gets Buffalo back into the comfort zone, the way this team was built. Coming up, no one expecting anything from them, no one believing that they can win. There's no doubt it'll be pretty powerful if Sean McDermott can spend all week saying, no one thinks you're going to win, no one expects you to get past this team. They're the Chiefs, they're 15-1, the defending champs. I mean, it really writes itself. You and I don't even have to come up with it. McDermott has plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing that I kind of want to touch on here is, when you go back and you look at this game on the whole, look, the Bills' offense wasn't that high-powered machine that we've seen most of the season, but the defense has continued to play better and better. Look, and they're healthy now. The matchup against the Chiefs looks a little different this time around because the defense looks different.
And not only that, they're playing better. I mean, this has not been the first time the defense has played well. Other than the Colts game and a couple of last-second, garbage touchdowns, this Bills defense has not given up 20 in a game going back to before the bye. So they will be a tougher test for the Chiefs. The other thing, too, is remember that first Chiefs game? The Bills said, go ahead and run on us. They gave up 200-plus yards rushing. I guarantee there'll be a different scheme for this game. I think the Bills just go toe-to-toe, and let me tell you, can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, absolutely. Give me Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes all day. Let them both sit back in the pocket.
Round one, maybe of many, too.
Absolutely. All right. The Bills beat the Ravens 17-3. They're headed back to the AFC Championship game. For Thad Brown, I'm Josh Reed. Thanks for watching Buffalo Postgame Live.